year, and unfortunately Haley had a prior to commitment with the change in dates for the meetings, and Maeve and Haley brought this to the committee, the Student Advisory Council, back in February about the idea of transitioning in the spring instead of in the fall, where seniors are so busy over the next few weeks. We sort of just, it was an uneasy ending, and then with the new group coming in, sometimes they wouldn't attend their first meeting until October. So what we've decided is to transition with Maeve and Haley being done now early May, so they can enjoy their last month of school without having this commitment. And then at the beginning, I think it's going to be the June 1st meeting, I'll be here again to introduce the three representatives that will be on committee next year. And that way they can start right from the beginning of the school year. They'll be on board with you.
I think it's a brilliant insight that you not only need to have the time to yourself to sign off properly, but also that somebody else can be onboarding. I just want to say thank you so much for all of your commitment and time and updates, and we just have a little thank you.
So we wish you both the best in your journey.
Thank you.
And thank you for being part of the team with us.
Thank you so
And you
much.
should have a Haley, please.
Yes, I will.
Congratulations. We're so proud of you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
And do you want to tell us where you're going next year?
I'm going to Villanova.
Yay.
That's what this was.
Maybe. Well, I saw.
My brother goes there.
What's your age?
Well, I saw the sticker.
Thank you. Exploratory sciences. It's basically just undecided in all the sciences. So.
I have some friends' children that went to Villanova and had a wonderful experience. So
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Great.
What about Haley?
She's going to UMass. Yes. So she's excited.
Which one? Amherst. Oh, great.
Yes.
Those of us that went there say there's only one UMass. The other ones are UMass Lowell, UMass Dartmouth, but there's only one UMass.
don't forget UMass Boston. That was one of my colleges.
Texas doesn't get it. I knew what you meant. Awesome. Well, thank you again.
Thank you.
Really appreciate all of your time and your communication and commitment. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
And, I'll be back in a couple of weeks with our new reps.
Awesome. That's great. Thank you.
Thank you. I've been here 25 years. Learn something new.
Yeah. UMass is Amherst.
Never know.
Everybody else gets a qualifier. Okay. School committee individual comments. Jason?
So the Envisioning Future Holliston, we are in full swing of getting community engagement. And this week we've had 3 forums so far. We have one more event this week. It is Saturday. It's actually, I need to take that back. It's not our event. We are participating in the Public Safety Day that's being put on by the town. Robert Walker, the Deputy DPW Director, got together all the departments, and they're doing like a touch-a-truck, and you can come to the high school between 9 and 1 and meet people from the departments, and Envision Future Holliston will have a table there to talk to people. We had an engagement here on Tuesday evening. We had about 25 people, a lot of people in person, a bunch online. On Wednesday, one of the consultants, myself and Kathleen Buckley, the assistant town administrator, came to the high school and sat with students. So we've gotten a lot of feedback, and then this morning we were at the senior center. So again, please, we want to hear from everybody. Go to the Town of Holliston website. There is a link to Future Holliston, and we want people to share your ideas on our it's called Social Pinpoint site. So lots of work happening. We're still in that engagement phase, and when the summer starts, we'll move towards more of the start putting the strategic plan together. So, but really great work from the students. It was a lot of fun. We got a lot of data from them, and it was really nice to be just sit with them and hear from them. It was really cool.
Great. Thank you. Anyone else? Cynthia?
I just wanted to congratulate the cast and crew of Ram's Aladdin production that was last weekend. Their kids had a great time. They performed well. They're exhausted. But congratulations to Mrs. Hecker and Mrs. Peters and everyone else that was part of the cast and crew. It's a great show.
Anybody else?
One more thing. I'm getting my dates confused. Next week, the district will be celebrating Teacher Appreciation Week, and the PTO is sort of leading and coordinating the activities. So get on your class pages and check out the PTO Facebook page, and requests for donations, et cetera, are all listed there. So we're looking forward to a great week next week at all 4 schools.
The request for donations is on the PTO Facebook page. Okay. All right.
Just one quick thing.
Yeah.
I guess most of us saw the news, but for those that aren't in the high school, congratulations to Principal Nicole Bottomley, who was named Massachusetts High School Principal of the Year. And that announcement was made through the Massachusetts School Administrators Association. And of course, many of us have tuned in today for the interviews with the principal candidates. Now, is that going to be available online for people who couldn't tune in today between 5:30 and 7? Do we know?
Are you able to get it online?
Yes, if it's recording, yes.
I don't know if they
Possibly.
recorded it. I wasn't
Yeah, I'm not
involved.
sure.
Okay. But we can follow along with the emails in terms of feedback and when that's due.
Yeah, the feedback survey should have gone out this afternoon from Mr. Vernay, so they should be able to respond, and it's by 5 o'clock tomorrow night.
And Dr. Jordan, I saw a post up at Rams Middle School announcing that he
Correct.
is now Dr. Jordan.
So congratulations. I was going to update you. We actually have 2 new doctors in the district, Dr. Joni Menard and Dr. David Jordan. Both received it within, a week of each other.
Oh, my goodness.
So
That's so
we're very
exciting.
proud of them and give them the best wishes. So too many big powwows in the room at some time. Now we have, 4 doctors at our meetings? And none of us will prescribe any medication.
Great. Anything else? All right. I did not get any requests for public comment. Keith, did you get any?
Nothing.
How are you on time? Do you want to? Can we have Dan do his presentation?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's great.
Are you all set to go?
I'm ready.
All right.
Thank you. Oops.
I know.
All right, good evening, everybody. Happy to be here again. Providing the spring technology update. This is just I wanted to spotlight a few areas of the strategic plan. This is definitely not everything that's going on, but I thought it'd be helpful to highlight a few major initiatives we're working on. So, tonight I'll be presenting 4 initiatives from our communication arch because they all involve technology, 1 from teaching and learning, and then 3 awesome people from talent and resources that we recently hired. All right, so one large initiative we're working on is building out our family resources on the website. So we have hired somebody, and I'll show her later in the presentation, who is really helping us out with this. So this is the initiative on the left. The website is not completely live yet, but will be shortly. Is going to have a slew of resources for families. It's a lot. So all of these are going to be organized on one page. So we will use these when we onboard families to show them what's available to them locally, Massachusetts. So that's coming soon, and that'll be located under the Safe and Supportive Schools link right here. So you'll see another link in that page that's going to be linking to this page. And then we're also, I did not get a chance to talk with Dr. Kuska about this, but we'd like to potentially put it
On the spot.
up here. These are like really go-to links for families up here. So potentially, eliminating the COVID information one, possibly replacing it with the family resource one would be one move we can make. We like to keep this list not too long because it's sort of our go-to links for families. But that's kind of my hope is we get this page linked up there and then constantly refer to it throughout our communications. So that's happening behind the scenes. It took a lot of work to get that site built with all those links, but happy to be at the point we're ready to release it. Also, communication, we're excited about this one. This is going to really open our accessibility for reports and everything. So currently, Power School prints reports as PDFs. It's always a challenge to translate those. So we have a tool now that we're going to be able to post reports inside the portal for families. So the Power School report cards, for example, at Rams, they're going to be available not only as PDF, but electronically in the portal. And then once they're in the portal, they become translatable. So all families will have ease of translation for their students' reports. And then phase 2 would be potentially transcripts. So this tool does have that functionality too. So we could potentially, we get this request frequently. I wish I saw my students transcript it because it's a nice snapshot of their entire high school career. So again, that's a phase 2, but this tool does have that functionality. So we're really looking forward to launching that. It also has a lot more features. For example, we can track, in Power School, we'll be able to track students in the computer science endorsement program easily with this tool, the global citizenship program. So it's difficult right now to track. We use shadow systems, we call them, to track these students. We can do it within Power School. So we just bought this product, and we're training on it. So just giving you a preview of what's coming down the road.
That's great.
And that is a huge initiative in our strategic plan, the accessibility of content. All right, another one. I should have put her name and face first, but another one that Kim at Central Office is working on is our staff directories. And I'm going to thought I would share this link. There we go. And this is actually live. We decided to start with Central Office, so this is your Central Office and all faces. And our plan and faces and roles and everything, so we plan to expand this to the schools. It's a massive project, but our goal is to get all staff photos on the website and the directories. So it would likely be in this 4-column format. So you could search, for example, like if you wanted to see the French immersion teachers in second grade or something, you could search that in the directory and the pictures would come up. So it's a large project, but we're working on that, and we have somebody that's dedicated to it. So
I think that, I just felt it was really important when people are trying to find out who their new teacher is. It's reassuring to kids that they can see. And even myself, sometimes I don't always know someone that I might want to meet with or something, and I haven't met them, or because they are part-time staff member, whatever. It's nice to be able to have all our faces front and center.
Of course, I'm sure the central office people are loving the fact that you're leaving this slide up and showing their faces.
yes, I'll hear about that tomorrow.
Yes.
Oops. One more with communication. This is the 4th one. Another large project was to identify all the links on our website that are external. And these are sites that we built over the years. Schools have built, for example, program of studies, the Global Citizen site. They're all really nice-looking sites. This is just the list of the high school sites. But we want to convert them to our main website platform, primarily for searching, because right now, if you search for global citizenships on our main website, you're not going to get much. So if we move it to our site, then all the searching capabilities kick in, and then also all of the accessibility features. It's not that Google's site doesn't have those, it's just we feel that our main website has more of these advanced features. So this is a project that we are, and thanks to Joni for some assistance with this, but we are having some folks coming over the summer to help us migrate these sites. We're not going to get them all done, and this is a 2-year project, but our big one is program of studies. So we're trying to get that one over first, and then the other ones coming soon thereafter. So this is all 4 schools. Like if you compare the high school to Placentino, it's not nearly as much.
Yeah.
So the high school is the big one. And then we will just, another part of this project is training staff to manage their own content. For example, like school counselors, once we migrate some of those sites over, we'll have to train those users to manage the content on the new platform. So those are the 4 communication initiatives that we're working on. Teaching and learning. Joni's been leading this project as well. We have a team of folks, and they are spending a lot of time on this, but we are taking a deep dive into all of our current resources, our digital resources, examining usage, alignment, pre-K to 12, and looking at the data, because in the fall, as part of our plan, we're going to launch a data dashboard committee to search for a dashboard solution for Holliston. So that's the plan, is we're trying to capture all this data and then find a tool that we can house all this data in the fall. So this team is working behind the scenes to look at all of our resources. And then next year we'll be presenting to you some potential recommendations for a resource to house all of our data. And this would be data that would help teachers, administrators, potentially parents might have a snapshot in some of their student data. So I just wanted to highlight this team is doing a ton of work with teaching and learning to examine all of our resources. Feel free to chime in, Joni. Okay.
And Dan, is that because Power School doesn't have all that functionality, right? So it only has, say, A to L, and we need an A to Z sort of.
Correct. Actually, Power School does have a data dashboard, but there's a lot of other solutions out there that are very user-friendly. So Power School will likely be one of the candidates we'll explore, but there are other ones out there too that are apparently agnostic as far as data. So, and they do sync with Power School. So we're just going to look for the best one for Holliston, and bring it forth, because every time we turn around, there's a need for this dashboard. For example, the equity audit, it was really time-consuming to try to extract some of that data from Power School. And so if we had a dashboard, it might have been in minutes instead of hours. So that's, again, and that was a need for us at central office, but we feel like principals would also benefit from having that at their fingertips.
Yeah, sure.
Teachers in their classes. So
Great.
So there's a large team of curriculum and technology integration working on all of these resources to present that large initiative next year. All right, then I wanted to bring forth some of our new staff. This is Jacob. He actually is coming to us from Western Mass. He was looking to get closer to Boston. We're excited. He has school experience as far as technology. He will be supporting Placentino and then other schools throughout the district. Very knowledgeable, very friendly. Feel like he's a great fit. And then these two have hit the ground running. So Jody Renee is our new data systems specialist. When you come to central office, those red signs that you see,
They look great.
she made them all. No one asked her. We came in like Monday morning and everyone had a sign on their door.
I like that.
She used Cricut, which I don't even know what that is, but my wife would. So she did that. She's been great. She comes to us from Ashland Public Schools. And then Kim Sexton also is the one that's doing a lot of that website work for us, the staff directories, and then family resources. So you'll see her friendly face right at the front of central office. So they're doing a lot of technology work, which is why I don't supervise Kim, but she's doing a lot of work with the technology. And Jody Renee is handling Power School, our new special programs, which is our special education replacement system, and then everything else surrounding data.
We're also trying to use Kim to help us with social media, getting information out, because we do our newsletters and our weekly things when applicable, but those quick things, to be able to have someone that is in the office to do that, so we're going to be putting more effort into that as well. And she's great, and they're both very technologically savvy to make up for some of my deficits.
Yep, great additions. So that's all I have for tonight. I will say, like, we are, in case you're wondering, we are learning as much as we can about AI. And we will, in my next presentation, I'll talk to Dr. Kuska. It could be sooner rather than later. We would like to bring forth some ideas as far as Holliston and how we embrace AI. So our technology team, we're learning as much as we can about it. I attended a conference actually at Dell headquarters last week. It was all about two things, AI and data. Like the same things we do in public school system, they're dealing in corporate world. So it was great. We learned from other K-12 districts. They're all trying to get their hands around AI and the impacts of it. So we're going to look forward to that. That's coming soon. So, and cybersecurity is not going to go away.
Yeah, right.
So my next presentation will focus on those things, but this one was communication and teaching and learning.
Okay, great.
So questions?
I actually have a question about AI.
Yes.
So I know I'm familiar with the program Turnitin, right? You would, as a teacher or professor, you could run a student's paper through this program to see if it registered, like what percentage of it had been quoted or taken from some other location on the internet. I have to imagine that there's something coming down the pike that combats AI like that.
Yes, it's interesting. There's the districts that I hear from, like we have these, I'll call them email communications. It's split, honestly. Like some districts are embracing it. They know it's like whack-a-mole. Like we can try to block it, but the kids have the cell phones and they can get to it, and then personal devices. So it's just, and then what you block this one, the next one comes down the pike. So, and then these solutions you're talking about. So. That's why we're trying to learn as much as we can and the angle to take and to bring that forth to you. So yes, there's going to be a lot of these solutions that do that.
Yeah, and no, I'm curious about that too, just because like Turnitin, when we were doing when you're doing your dissertation, that was places they would have you always check it, especially in a long document. And I always, that is a way that you can kind of see. If there's something out there similar, then you can dig into it a little bit more. This is just uncharted territory right now because it may not be replicated anywhere else. It may be newly created material. So
Yeah.
your guess is as good as ours. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, the latest version is now the database is to August 2022. What I did learn in that conference was the chat GPT is very shallow. Like it does, it can give you like the surface level. It does not go like deep. So that might be the way that we need to, when we assess students, somehow bring that in the equation.
Yeah.
So it's a big one to get our heads around. It could be beneficial in a lot of ways. So we just have to try to figure all that out. So.
Doesn't it also like make up sources and things like that?
It does.
So like you have to be worried because you could say, hey, I want you to do this, and I'll say, well, I'll create you a study that
Yep.
doesn't actually exist, that isn't even real, and then reference it.
Correct. Fake links, yes.
Yeah. I don't know what the terminology is, but.
Yes. I actually termed last week hallucinations. Like the,
Yes.
Yeah.
That's
what
exactly right.
How could it be beneficial?
just because it could help like create that first draft. So if someone really struggled with that, even a student potentially like struggle with the first draft, this could be a tool for that. Again, I'm just highlighting use cases in some districts, and again, a lot of districts are in the same boat that we are. We're trying to get our head around it as far as K-12. But that could be the potential, students who struggle with writing, this could be a first draft, for example, but they still have to manipulate, make sure those resources are cited and all that. Like, it will not cite right now. Apparently that's coming down the pike, that AI will cite resources, so that will be interesting. But there's a lot of ways you can kind of poke holes into it right now. We just have to educate our users.
One of the other things I've heard about how it could be useful is because it has an algorithm, right? So it's very predictable. And I've heard of people using it, like giving students a document and saying, like, rewrite this so it doesn't feel like a computer wrote it. So like kind of like an editing.
Like teach kids how to edit?
Yeah. Or like, this is formulaic because we know they're going to say this and then this and then this. And so how do you make this more interesting and not follow the algorithm? So it's kind of like it's editing, but like kind of inverse writing. I mean, that was just one of the ways I had heard that it could be useful, because I struggled to see how it could be useful too. But I guess if you're learning that skill, it could be used that way.
And it's right now, like, it's open source, so we are not like going to put any student data in this program or anything like that. Like, it's not secure whatsoever. But we think that's what might be coming is, vendors will start providing like private clouds of AI. And then potentially, the one use I heard as far as like the data dashboards is there could be the ability to like upload, thousands of rows of data and then ask AI questions about that data, which would be huge for teachers and administrators. Not having to analyze it, you just ask it questions like, tell me how many, tell me the diversity in, AP classes in Holliston High in, the last 3 years or something. So,
Create a a pie graph
Correct.
of this or that. I mean, I
Yeah.
could see those being
That
like
could be really
efficient,
helpful.
but
Yeah, so it's that data at the fingertips. Again, that was that conference I went to, was all that data and AI. So it's here. It's it's still very new, but every version has that much more capability. So I'm talking to you all about this tonight. I'm not quite ready, but I'm just sharing what I've learned. But our team is on it, and we're learning as much as we can and what other districts are doing. But so stay tuned.
Great. Thank you. Any other questions?
Good job, Dan.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Dan.
Thanks.
So I'm going to move up Lisa's, the superintendent evaluation part right now. Lisa might have a conflict coming. She's not totally clear on that
Try
yet.
to stay for the whole meeting.
So she's going to try, but just in case she does have to duck out, we're just going to put the superintendent evaluation now and then we'll follow the rest of the agenda in order.
Okay, so why don't we start with, I think if everybody could just bring this up on your screen, start with the long version first, the one that does not say abridged. And then we'll just go top to bottom, and I will ask for any suggested edits that people have.
So we need to change it. We provided in-person learning for grades
K through 3.
K through 3.
Oh, thank you. I can't rely on my memory anymore. I should just check everything.
Susan started July 6th, if that matters.
Yeah, it's July. I checked that with her, correct. And the edits you're seeing are just what we did in the subcommittee. But I know some of you looked at that beforehand, so. So those first 4 paragraphs of the introduction, does anybody have anything else?
No.
Is it okay to move on?
Yep.
Okay. So process, does anybody have any edits to the process section? right, any objection to moving on? No? Okay. After process? Oh, my cursor just jumped. District priorities is very straightforward because this is taken totally from her words and how she described them. So I'm going to, unless someone screams, I'm going to assume no one has any objections to the district priorities section. Feedback on ARCH number 1, communication practices, under commendations. Any edits under commendations? Everybody good or need another minute? Anybody object to moving on to opportunities for growth? Good to go. All right. Any suggested edits to opportunities for growth?
And the crossed out sections are what you decided in subcommittee?
Yes. And in some changes, some of that, though, are things that were moved. So if it was crossed out, it doesn't necessarily mean it was deleted.
Okay.
If you're talking about that it is not enough section, that was moved.
I see that.
And the same thing with the office hours bit, that was moved, not deleted. How about just give me a thumbs up when you're ready to move on?
I really like the term cordial. It's not the right word.
Okay, where's, what
It's
here?
the first, sorry. It's on opportunities for growth. It's the third paragraph down.
Okay.
It says cordial relationships, productive relationships. I don't really know what.
I think productive is a good word.
I don't know if anybody else feels strongly about it like I do.
I like productive over cordial.
Thank you. I do too.
Do you like collegial?
Or collaborative.
Collaborative. I feel like collaborative's overused.
I think
feel
it
like
is
that's
too.
an edgy babble
I just-
term.
it-
People
yeah.
on it.
I think, yeah, it's not for lack of, yeah. It's not for lack of collaboration, it's for lack of being able to
Okay.
move forward. It's just,
So we're all good with productive?
I'm good with productive, yeah.
Productive. Okay. It is now productive. And just, apologies to everyone at home. We are required to edit this in public, at a public meeting. Does anybody need another minute?
just scrolling.
Almost there.
Okay.
Where are we supposed to be at the very end, or are we just moving on to Arch?
No, we're gonna move.
Sorry.
We're gonna move on to Arch 2.
Okay, that's where I'm at. Dr. Casca, don't you meet with student advisory meetings at the lower elementaries as well as elementary schools?
All
as well?
levels, yes.
All levels,
Yeah.
so it should say all
Oh.
4 schools.
Yeah,
I
agree.
thought it was Rams.
No?
At all, okay. That's what I had originally, and then
Yeah, I know,
changed
that you
it.
crossed it out, I was like, well, that's
Because I
true.
saw somewhere else that it was middle and high, and that must have just been
Because
wrong.
the highlight was here in her talk about what the kindergartners had to say.
Maybe there's just committees that are called the Student Advisory Committee at those 2 schools, and it's like,
There's, yes, at the school level there are 2, but I have the
But there's
superintendent,
still-
student.
Yeah,
advisor.
there's student, yeah, it's a superintendent, student
so is
advisories.
it called something other than Student Advisory Meetings, or is that
Just
accurate enough?
superintendent, student advisory, that's, I don't know.
Yeah.
So do you want to add the word
Yeah,
superintendent?
it's
student
her
advisor, so there's no
specific one, different
confusion?
from the other advisory, I think. Superintendent, student advisory meetings. Yeah.
Where it says to improve their communication, and then an offer.
Which paragraph are you on?
The offers,
This is back in Arch 1, Lisa, under communication recommendations.
Okay. Oh, yeah, I see where you are.
multiple offers, is that correct, Bethany?
I don't see where you are.
Okay. So do you see the paragraph? Let's see. You see the paragraph in words directed to Dr. Koska as part of this evaluation? You see that paragraph? And then underneath it, another member? Lisa, do you see
An
it?
offer
Now
they
I
have-
see it. Okay, yep.
Yep.
An offer they have ignored is,
So is it
Accurate.
offer? Okay, got it.
oh, you mean should it be offers?
Yes.
Offers, multiple offers is what she's trying to say.
Oh, yeah.
So offers they have ignored.
Yep.
Okay. Ugh, sorry.
So Lisa, the second paragraph, that's the edit.
Oh, wait, I'm sorry, before you go on to that, actually, in that sentence, we're talking about outside mediation
Yeah.
specifically.
Yeah.
There's another place where we talk about informal and formal and informal get-togethers. That's been multiple times. I think this outside mediation, this is.
That was multiple times as well.
No, that's been.
No, that was multiple times.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right, okay, cool.
Like
Sorry, Stacey.
3?
3.
Okay.
You could say 3 times if you'd like.
Under Arch 2, so on the
Oh,
recent.
wait,
law-
before we go to Arch 2, though, is everybody done with Arch 1?
I am.
Anyone?
I know.
Well, 'cause-
Dawn skipped and went back again.
Oh,
It's her
sorry.
fault.
Dawn, are you
done.
really done? Are you finally
Everybody's
done?
really done.
Everyone's done. Okay. Arch 2, Mark Secco.
So the, just maybe say the superintendent advisory meetings. So on the recent walkthrough at the high school, that second paragraph.
Second paragraph.
I don't know, do you need to say superintendent student in my advisory meetings again? I think you should there
For clarity.
because
Yep.
Yeah.
at the high school, there's advisory.
Yes, that's a very good point. Yes, done. Don't go beyond commendations yet, Cynthia.
Okay.
You can see her cursor moving.
I've read it like 6 times already. so-
I have to. It's like we need to do it.
You're
just once
right,
more.
you're right.
Lisa, is it silly to think to ask, can we define tech and accept?
Oh, sure.
If we need to.
Tech,
Is the education collaborative?
Yeah.
sure.
I don't know what accept stands for.
I don't know, accept stand, or just what, like.
It's just
if
what
you
it
could
is.
Sum
We
it
know
up in
what they
one
are.
phrase, what is it?
It's a collaborative,
Yeah,
not
our
our
district
students.
placements.
No, yeah. Special education collaborative.
Can I just say a special education
Education
collaborative?
collaborative, yes,
Yeah.
thank you.
Oh my God, you guys get to see how bad my typing is. Please, I don't know. Okay. Done.
No, I wasn't, I was just wondering whether everybody was, bless you.
Bless you. Yes. I'm
Well, we
ready.
were moving
I'm
on
good
to opportunities for growth.
I'm
or-
ready for
Okay.
opportunities for growth under budget.
Lisa, can we move to opportunities
Yes, we
for
can
growth?
move to opportunities for growth. Sorry, I'm trying to do the abridged version at the same time. Opportunities for growth. Any issues? Going once, going twice?
Yeah, I'm good with that.
Good.
Can we go on to feedback on arch number 3?
Yep.
Alrighty, commendations. Any edits?
I would like to say successful implementation of tuition-free grant. The quote that I got from Dr. Slaney was that it was seamless. That's when I asked her. Can we include that? The
You wanna say-
transition to having full-day kindergarten was seamless.
They don't have
Can't
to,
even imagine what it would be like otherwise.
and they don't have to collect any tuition.
So at the end of full day tuition,
Yeah.
which administrator's report was seamless?
Implemented seamlessly?
Yes.
Executed
Right, sure.
seamlessly?
Yes, thank you.
Which administrators report was seamlessly implemented? Good?
We said implemented twice, though. Implementation and implement.
Oh. Was seamlessly.
How it just was seamless, because that's fine, because you already have implementation.
Which, you still have to have, hold on. Deserves credit for the, can we say successful and seamless
Sure.
implementation?
Yeah.
Really could use some AI right now.
Don't even.
The only thing is, I feel like, please, I feel like it's important
Please
to
make me
for
a
administrators because it's, I think it's important to note that that comment came not from us, like from our view, it was
That's
seamless.
what I was
So-
saying, it came from Dr. Slaney.
Right, so, but that was just deleted with the,
Yeah.
okay, so can you write like per administrative report or something like that? Because I think it's important that it comes from administrators, not from us.
I'm going to go back to the way we had it, and then I'm going to change implemented. Just hold on. Can we say executed seamlessly?
Sure.
Went off without a hitch?
Yes. You said that's what she said when I asked.
Which administrator's report was executed seamlessly? Okay, does that work?
Or are you going to take out the seamless in front of implementation?
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Successful and seamless implementation.
Yes, I'm going to do that. Thank you for reminding me. Anything, opportunities for growth, anything?
Looks good.
Are we ready to move on to arch number 4?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, arch number 4, commendations.
Okay, I'm doing it again, but under Arch 3, opportunities for growth, do you feel like there was enough discussion about specificity and what you'd like to see with regard to world language department and this? Do we have more comments further on that? Because I feel like reading that, I'm not really sure what we're looking for there. But that's just, but maybe I'm
I
just.
think that's,
Just-
the specificity is something that needs to be discussed separately,
Okay.
I think.
So
Because just
let's
like
make
the
sure
other, yeah.
So.
I think that was my comment, so I'm happy to have that full, yes.
Okay.
That more
That's the only one that kind of
robust
bothered me.
conversation separately about specifics.
Okay.
Okay, arch number 4, commendations.
So where we say currently calibrating this tool, it's not yet implemented, is that correct? This wasn't part of, I thought it was partially implemented this year or no?
She was, you can ask Dr. Casca, but she was
Dr. Casca?
piloting that.
Is it accurate to say that you modified a framework and metrics from Boston Public Schools but still are currently calibrating this tool for use in Holliston?
Or did you pilot it?
So it's really just the elements that we're using for as related to our walkthroughs to give student feedback related to the walkthrough process, and we're continuing to calibrate the evaluation system, the whole system. That's just one piece.
But it
That's
was implemented this year.
the walkthroughs were implemented this year, yes. And that was a tool to help us on the walkthroughs.
We're calling them learning walks, is that not correct?
Yeah.
I think we called them learning walkthroughs, but
Okay, I mean, just what I call them. All right. Walkthroughs, let's,
learning
change
walkthroughs, I
it.
think we did say. Yeah.
Learning walkthroughs, okay.
Well, okay, let's make,
I can, rereading it, I understand. It
Okay.
does, it reads better now, like, yes, it was implemented. I guess,
But you had recent discussions about the framework from Boston Public Schools, is that correct?
It wasn't, it's the rubric, so how they break down the, what it
Can I
looks
just
like
tell
the
you what I
students and staff.
wrote? It says, modified a framework and metrics from Boston Public Schools and is currently calibrating this tool for use in Holliston as a comprehensive assessment model in order to evaluate educators throughout the district. Is that accurate?
No, I think it's really to help inform what we're looking for in the classroom more, I would say,
Okay.
because it's related to the 8 elements that we use in the evaluation process, but it's really what the student and staff look for. It's like when we walk in, this will help us understand if this is what we're seeing in the classroom. Does that make sense? So it's not the framework, it's really related to the evaluation elements and what teaching and learning looks like in the classroom.
why don't we just take out that second sentence?
Yeah.
yeah.
So if we just say Dr. Kuska has outlined a process to use an evidence-based evaluation tool to offer constructive feedback to our educators through a series of learning walkthroughs
Yeah.
in every classroom.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm going to
Wait.
take the last one now.
Yeah, the last one confused me.
Is that accurate?
It's twofold, that's why I don't want to.
It's both.
So it's helping us
Right.
when
I didn't
we go
say
to
it right
classroom for
here,
learning
but-
walkthroughs, but then it's also part of us calibrating the evaluation tool as administrators moving forward to help staff.
So it's not just, so you're saying it's not just constructive feedback to educators, it's also informing administrators.
To help us calibrate our feedback. Does that make sense? Like, it's so that we're kind of being consistent and equitable in how we give feedback to staff as well when we start to use it in the evaluation.
So you're using
How
that
about-
tool
wait,
to calibrate feedback. Is that the right way? I'm just
I
trying
got
to make
it.
it
No,
smaller.
wait. I got it. So, we're just going to add outline the process to use an evidence-based evaluation tool to offer constructive feedback to our educators through a series of learning walkthroughs in every classroom in a consistent manner. And then I have to move that phrase. Sorry, that's not going to work either. To provide constructive feedback to our educators in a consistent manner through a series of walkthroughs.
It's really to help the administrators grow in their capacity to then give feedback later on. Because in the walkthroughs, those aren't evaluative. I just don't want people thinking that when we're doing learning walkthroughs.
Okay, yeah,
it's
that's important.
Yeah.
I get it. All right. Okay.
I'm sorry, but the details sometimes matter.
No, they do.
does,
Yeah,
because
it does
it's
matter.
confusing.
Because the walkthroughs are to help the administrators
Right.
grow.
It's
Yes.
important to not make it seem like those learning walkthroughs are evaluative.
Right.
Yeah, that's important.
And eventually, we would like to have staff, teachers to join us on those walkthroughs so that they can
Right.
get into classrooms with us too.
Okay, I have a new proposal. Are you ready? Dr. Kuska has outlined a process to use an evidence-based evaluation tool to help administrators offer feedback to our educators that's constructive and consistent through a series of learning walkthroughs in every classroom.
Yes.
Awesome.
I like that.
Is that
Is that
accurate?
okay?
That's fair, yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Hold on. Hold the phone. Now I gotta go back and do that in here, because I just did that in writing. Okay. Okay.
So can you change walkthroughs, walks to walkthroughs?
Yes.
We're lucky to have you, Lisa.
I know, we are grateful.
It'll be a good 20 years before ChatGPT replaces it. There's a lot of kinks to work out. Okay, summary. Mark Secco. All right.
So the quote about the SOI,
Are you at the? You're
okay, sorry,
past
we're not at the
summary?
quotes, we're not at the
No,
comments.
that's okay.
Stefan.
That's okay. Anybody have anything on the summary? Okay, we can go on. What, Amanda, go ahead.
Just says, I think she is prepared to pivot and the discuss, is it and to discuss?
Yeah, it should be and to discuss.
And to discuss, yes. Thanks. To pivot and to discuss the Yep. Good catch. All right. Does anybody need any more time before we vote on it? Or do you want to hold it and vote on next meeting? We don't necessarily have to vote at this meeting.
Do we need to read it aloud or not till we vote?
I'm proposing we read the abridged version aloud. I will just transfer the same edits from the long version to the abridged version, which didn't end up being as abridged as I'd like, but I did my best. And then the idea was to read the abridged version aloud. Do we want to do that at this meeting? Do you want to wait till the next meeting? Do we want to vote on this now?
I say we get it, we do it now.
We do it. We just do it all done now.
Okay. So, can somebody make a motion to?
So I not a move, okay.
Go ahead, Amanda.
Move to vote or move to approve?
Move to approve the evaluation.
I move to approve the evaluation.
As edited this evening. Seconded by Stacy.
Sorry, I was reading something else. Moved by Amanda, seconded by Stacy. All in favor? Great.
Okay. And then do we want to go over the abridged separately, just like we did the other one? Okay. So now you need to switch to super eval abridged. And this is the version meant to be read aloud. And I'm just going through making sure I caught all the other edits. I got productive relationships.
Oh, last paragraph of the second page?
I'm sorry?
Last paragraph of the second page. You
Last
have
paragraph,
cordial, so we're going to
Yep,
change
productive. I got that.
that. Okay. Did you just say that? I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's okay. And I changed offers. Offers they have ignored.
Yeah.
Superintendent's student advisory meetings. I got the education collaborative and accept the special education collaborative.
Successful implementation is seamless. The seamless part of the bottom paragraph.
Yes, I changed the full day K part to what we just did. And I also got the learning walkthroughs edits that we just made.
abridged is still pretty wordy.
I know. All right. Does anybody else need a minute on the abridged version? No. Okay. Do we want to vote separately on this since we're going to read this one aloud?
Yeah.
Okay, so
Moved by Cynthia to accept the abridged evaluation of Dr. Kuska to be read aloud, edited this evening.
Seconded by Stacy.
Moved by Cynthia, seconded by Stacy. All in favor? Great. All right.
Ready, set, go?
Ready, set, go.
This is the Holliston School Committee evaluation of Superintendent Dr. Susan Kuska, formative review for the 22-23 school year, May 2023. Holliston Public Schools have a long history of excellence, and Dr. Susan Kuska has worked hard to continue that tradition. Dr. Kuska came to the district as interim superintendent in July of 2020 when the COVID pandemic had thrown districts nationwide into a tailspin. She successfully navigated the difficulties related to reopening in the midst of a pandemic. As the immediate impacts of the pandemic began to wane, she spearheaded an enormous effort to develop a 5-year strategic plan, Building Bridges Together. As part of her plan, Dr. Kuska has upheld and further developed our commitment to social emotional well-being for students, while pioneering several new efforts to improve our curriculum alignment, increase communication with families, and bolster our growth within the diversity, equity, and inclusion sphere. Like most districts, we are still feeling the effects of the pandemic. We are still catching up academically due to the learning time lost, and we are simultaneously charged with trying to mitigate the negative social emotional impacts of the pandemic on students. This is not an easy time to be a student, a teacher, a paraprofessional, or a superintendent. We are grateful to Dr. Kuska, her central office team, and the entire community of families and educators for their shared commitment to moving forward and fostering a culture of continuous improvement and growth. District priorities. Dr. Kuska, with approval from the school committee, set forth 4 arches to guide her goals for the year. Arch number 1 is communication practices. Arch number 2 is social and emotional well-being. Arch number 3 is teaching and learning. That's a student learning goal. Arch number 4 is talent and resources. This is a professional practice goal. This is our feedback on arch number 1, communication practices. Commendations. Most school committee members offered high praise for Dr. Kuska's communication efforts with respect to parents and guardians. The key to her communication plan has been the unifying message from the strategic plan of Building Bridges Together, which is highlighted throughout the district as a visible reminder that we are one district with a common goal of continuous improvement in student outcomes. Multiple school committee members praised her leadership in producing an updated and improved website. Several members also praised her improved methods of communication to the community through her emails and newsletter. Notably, her quarterly newsletters via SMORE have garnered more than 5,300 views this year. She was also commended for her dedicated focus on diversity, equity, and inclusion, and her transparency in dealing with racist incidents. Dr. Kuska seems to have developed good rapport with central office administrators, and one member noted that on a recent visit to central office, more than one staff person commented on the camaraderie evident between Dr. Kuska and her fellow administrators. Multiple school committee members lauded her communication with families, the school committee, and the community at large. And now, opportunities for growth, also under arch number 1, communication. While some members praised her communication with the school committee, others felt she was not always readily transparent or open to feedback. But all members agreed that the key opportunity for growth, not just within Arch 1, but overall in her role as district leader, can be found within staff communication and relations. Dr. Kuska's strength is bringing in innovative, forward-thinking ideas. Her main challenge is successfully executing them because of the gradual breakdown of productive relationships between some teachers and the administration. The school committee has received a significant amount of feedback from school staff and community members that staff morale is a concern in the district, particularly at the high school level. The theme running throughout the criticism of Dr. Kuska is that she has a top-down approach to leadership and change. The school committee is suggesting to her as an area of improvement that she try new and varied approaches to building relationships with school staff, and that she solicit feedback from a wider representation of the school community, specifically including more teachers and paraprofessionals that don't always speak up when contemplating major changes. It is not enough to make smart changes. If those changes are not understood and ideally embraced by the broader community, their likelihood of success is low. We would also like to see her invest some time in leadership coaching and education in order to enhance her skills in making and implementing tough decisions with an eye to achieving buy-in from the community, particularly school staff. While holding office hours for teachers is commendable, some teachers have suggested that Dr. Kuska should work on more positive, casual communication with staff and more proactive transparency on initiatives so that teachers don't feel like everything is coming from the top down. This sort of relationship building should be a priority with paraprofessionals and other school staff as well, in addition to teachers. The school committee would like to acknowledge that Dr. Kuska cannot right the ship in this regard without cooperation and participation from the union representing most educators, the Holliston Federation of Teachers, or HFT. In words directed to Dr. Kuska as part of this evaluation, one school committee member said, quote, in spite of dealing with what I would deem harassment from HFT leadership, you are leading the district with confidence and grace, unquote. Another member said that the HFT leadership team treat Dr. Kuska, quote, with disdain, unquote, despite her willingness to enlist outside mediation to improve their communication, offers they have ignored. There is no doubt that the relationship must improve for our district to be successful. We are hopeful that the HFT will be open to avenues for improved communications that the school committee has suggested, such as focus groups or mediation. We are calling on Dr. Kuska and the HFT to come together and repair the relationship for the good of the students and the district. Other commendations. Dr. Kuska continues to be a visible presence across the district, attending significant events and presiding over superintendent-student advisory meetings. Dr. Kuska plays an active role in the leadership of the Education Collaborative and ACCEPT, a special education collaborative, and has undertaken mentorship of several central administrators. She continues to build relationships with our community partners, such as Holliston Youth and Family Services, the Select Board, Diverse Holliston, and PTO Mindshare. Although the district continues to experience issues of hate speech, Dr. Kuska's responses have been timely and appreciated as we continue to grapple with these unfortunate incidents. This is difficult work. As a school committee, we urge Dr. Kuska to address these thorny issues in an effort to make the district more welcoming and inclusive. We value diversity, equity, and inclusion, and acknowledge that growth in this area is a challenge, but a challenge worth pursuing. Dr. Kuska has not shied away from leading the district in this complex endeavor, and we commend her for her patience, tenacity, and hard work. Last year, Dr. Kuska reorganized the curriculum stipend positions to hire 3 full-time curriculum coordinator positions without added cost to the district. The new webpage with curriculum maps for each grade is evidence that greater collaboration and dedication toward the long-term goal of vertical and horizontal alignment across the district has yielded some success in its first year of implementation. The coordinators have a detailed plan to review all curriculum areas on a rotating basis to ensure continuous improvement. Dr. Kuska deserves credit for the successful implementation last year of tuition-free full-day kindergarten, which administrators report was executed seamlessly. This was a goal of school committees in Holliston going back a decade or more, and her leadership in making it a reality is one of her greatest achievements to date. Dr. Kuska has outlined a process to use an evidence-based evaluation tool to help administrators offer feedback that is constructive and consistent to our educators through a series of learning walkthroughs in every classroom. Summary. For all of the reasons noted above, we give Dr. Kuska an overall rating of proficient. She has worked hard to guide and improve the district and has many accomplishments to show for her efforts. Our primary concern is the relationship with the HFT and, by extension, the teachers who are expressing frustrations with her leadership style. While she is demonstrating willingness to improve relationships, the HFT appears averse to any mediation, formal or informal. It will take effort from both Dr. Kuska and the HFT to improve staff morale, and we are hopeful that their joint efforts will make the students and the community proud. Thank you, Dr. Kuska.
Thank you. Thanks for reading that, Lisa.
Does anybody have anything else they want to say or comment on before we move on?
I would just echo that, we really appreciate all that you're doing for our district. We're proud to have you here, and we appreciate it, and keep up the good work with your awesome team.
Appreciate that, thank you.
And please let us know, continue to let us know how we can keep supporting you in that effort. Because without us, you can't leave you on your own on this. You have to be part of the problem.
It takes the
Our
village.
solution.
It
It
takes
does,
the
we need to be
village,
part of the
doesn't it?
solution.
Thank you. Okay, after a bit of a side street, policy.
Okay, so was it last meeting? So last meeting, Mrs. Raffi brought forward a naming of school property discussion about Mary McNamara. And the subcommittee met to discuss the naming of school property policy. And what we would actually like to propose is that the reason why there's a 6-month provision on number 5 of the policy is because oftentimes people come to discuss wanting to name something and then they haven't actually even spoken to the family yet. They haven't discussed what they want to do yet, so that's why that's in place. But you already did all that work on the front end. So we felt like we could vote to waive number 5, which provides for that 6-month waiting period because it's unnecessary in this case because you've already contacted the family. You already know what, where the location of the naming of the property is going to be. So I would entertain a motion to waive the provision, the 6-month provision, so that we can adopt naming that room for Mrs. McNamara this evening without objection from the school committee. But it's I think it's a 2-part vote, so I have to vote to, waive number 5 of policy FF, naming of school property, and then actually vote. You should probably say that anyway.
Is this something that you'd like to edit the policy? Like, do you want us to?
No, we're just waiving number 5 of policy
Yeah, no, I just didn't know if you
FF.
wanted us to put it in somehow so for the future, that if
I mean-
X, Y, and Z has been met, then we will consider waiving or something. It was kind of whatever you just said about speaking
I
to the
mean,
family.
we could, but I think that with every policy, we always we waive a 3rd reading. Do you know what I mean? Like we have policies that say we have to read it 3 times, but we don't have to if we waive it. Do you get what I mean? So I don't know that we have to do that. I mean, I suppose we could edit it in future, but this was just asking for us at this point to waive number 5 because the 6-month doesn't really, we don't need to have 6 months if we've already gotten all the information that we need.
Yeah, no,
Does that make sense?
I'm not disagreeing. I'm just asking is that something that you're considering doing in policy or?
We did discuss it, but I don't know that we could. That's not what I'm asking for tonight, let's put it that way.
So how do you know that the purpose of the 6 months was to check in with the family?
Because we've had other people who've come forward to ask to name things after people who have applied to district. Terry Caccavalli, I will just take that as an example. So Lynn Pond had come to the policy subcommittee meeting and said, I would like for us to consider naming school property this reading room for Terry Caccavalli, but had not done any of that research of actually speaking to them. Where would it be? Have we actually done the work of actually creating that space? So there was a time that needed to happen between the vote. That's all.
Okay.
So that was my experience as to, personally, as to why it was, they waited so she could contact the family, ask them if this is okay with them, is this something that they would be willing to, participate in, and then where are we going to have this property? So.
I just didn't know with the 1967 policy if the purpose of saying following the initial recommendation and then we'll review a period of 6 months is in case there was any kind of controversy or if someone wanted to have an issue with it. But I feel like this was first brought, was it 3 weeks ago or more than 3 weeks ago? And I also think that should something arise like this, we could always address it at that point. I didn't know if the 6-month waiting period had anything to do with that. But I think that there's ways we could address it if it were, right? I mean, if you think someone could propose someone, and maybe they also want to give time for somebody else to propose someone, but I think that we could still address that, so I'm comfortable with waiving it, Cynthia. I just
Okay.
didn't know.
Yeah, I mean, that was my
purpose of
personal
the 6
experience
months.
previously.
Yeah, I think that's what
I
I'm
can't
thinking,
speak
too.
to like 25 years ago or, you know,
I'm happy to waive it, like, as a separate issue. Going forward, I think that, exactly to your point, like.
we could
that
update
is-
it to,
Right,
yeah, to put
like that it started in 1967, like, they didn't even dream of the
Right.
internet then, right? So like, it's a whole other, I just think if we, yes, I'm fully on board with waiving for this
No, I get
instance,
it,
but
yeah.
I also think that exactly what you're saying, Dawn, is like, why the 6 months? What does it mean? What are the criteria that we want to see met in order to make,
Okay, well,
to make this
we
happen?
can look at that in a subsequent meeting. I'm happy to do that.
So would somebody like to make a motion to waive this for,
Motion
not
to
the editing?
waive. Motion to waive
It's number 5, the 6-month
the 6,
review period.
motion to waive the 6-month review period.
I'll second it.
Moved by Lisa, second by Cynthia, all in favor?
Should I abstain from?
Why?
Oh, all right. I won't.
You're here,
I just,
so you-
I know, because I proposed it.
No.
but I-
But I'm talking about the policy now anyway. Okay, so then the other piece to that was that I wanted, you should make the motion, but to actually follow through with naming of the property.
I know, but we're not all here tonight.
Okay,
But do we have to be?
do we have to be all here?
The naming of school property shall require a vote at a school committee meeting with the full committee in attendance.
See, I read that too, but then you waived number 5.
I just waived number
So I
5.
think because it's part of
That's
number 5.
why I said waive
think you
number
can't-
5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Then I would happily, oh my God, guys, you put me on the spot.
I
No, I know, no, I
you can look it over to make sure I did alert you.
So I move to name what is called the Smart Room at Robert Adams Middle School in memory of Mary McNamara. What else do you want?
That's all.
Okay.
Second.
Moved by Stacy, second by John, all in favor. Great.
Thank you. Okay. Sorry, Stacy.
No, I didn't even know, I just, I would recommend
Just thought you should make it.
I appreciate that.
Okay. The next one is policy IJP, selection of instructional materials. I'm asking for us to, we've read this a number of times. I had no other revisions to it. I didn't know if anybody had any further questions, so that we could move forward, and I'm asking for this to be revised as amended right now. Anybody?
Anybody want to make a motion?
I can make the motion, but move to amend policy IJ, selection of instructional materials, as presented.
Second.
Moved by Cynthia, second by John, all in favor?
Thank you. And then we're going to skip over JIC and JICFB because we were waiting to hear back from Katie Minal, and she just got back to Dr. Kuska today, so we weren't able to review over those suggestions, and then she added a few that we hadn't asked her about. So we're going to talk about that at our next meeting next week, and then we'll bring it back on the 18th. So then the last one is policy KCD, which is public gifts to school. This is a revision required. Well, it's an update from MASC, but it has to comply with state law. So, so we basically just took MASC's proposed, their guidance policy, and we just substituted it in,
I think there's a
essentially.
word missing in the second paragraph. Gifts will automatically become the property, any gift of cash, regardless of donor intent, will be accepted by vote of the HSC and kept separate from the general fund.
Lisa DeLuzio was cutting and pasting it in, so.
Maybe you just need a comma.
Makes it
Should
Yeah,
say
or a comma, that works.
or and, it's fine.
Well, there's already an and.
Oh, you're right,
At the end
yeah.
of the sentence,
I
so
would
maybe
put
it's just a
comma,
comma.
Okay.
That is an Oxford comma. No. I didn't used to have any issue with Oxford commas.
Okay.
Someone just,
What just deleted it?
someone has to undo.
I'm not in there.
Wasn't me.
Well, hit undo, whoever it is.
I'm hitting undo, but
Not me.
nothing's happening. Not
It
it.
wasn't me.
Undo on the top.
Dawn.
It wasn't me.
No.
I'm not
I
in
hit
it.
undo, nothing happened.
I didn't do
I
it.
already did undo, I didn't do it.
Oh, for crying out loud.
Can you hover over to see who did it?
I didn't do it.
Can't you hover the?
I'm trying.
It's
It
whoever's
says
Keith.
last edited by Dawn Naborski. It says it right up at the top.
It's Keith. It's Keith's content.
I was sitting
He's
back.
trying to find it.
That was sad.
We're trying to
Did you
find
close
it.
it already?
It doesn't say that.
It does.
Just go to
Look, it says
the
last
top
edited.
arrow in
Look at
yellow.
seconds ago by Dawn Naborski.
Well, I just jumped back into it.
Okay.
Control Z.
We could just arrow back what we did.
All right, hold on. I think I can go back to the previous version.
Wow,
be
I've never had this happen before.
This- I
This is
know.
exciting.
This is
So if everybody
fun.
control Z's, it should fix it, right?
Okay. Bizarro.
It is.
I'm not even in the document this time.
Hello?
I control Z already.
Nothing.
Yeah, me too.
Gosh darn it.
Well, maybe it's AI acting
I
up.
guess
Maybe.
Keith doesn't really want us to report this.
That would be a true
Can
statement.
everybody that's on there just click the arrow back?
I
Just make
did.
sure
I already clicked undo.
What
Couple
arrow
times.
am I trying to
Undo.
click here?
Up on the top
at
left,
the
under
top.
file, there's the undo.
You did it, Control Z.
Control Z is the
Why
same.
control Z wouldn't work, so that should work.
Yeah, I've done like other things.
All right, hold on.
It's not approving it this one
Current
either.
version. All right, hold on.
I'm not in it.
How do I
Why
put
does
this one
yours look
back?
different than mine?
I'm putting this one back. This is from last week. How do I make this it?
Rename it something else?
No, restore this version. I got this, hold on. No touching, everybody.
Oh,
I got, don't touch!
Okay.
All right, hold on. And now I gotta put that comma, nobody else touch. Okay. All right, are we good?
Hands down.
I'm not near it.
All right, I have to read it though, I think. So I don't know why this has, this shouldn't be here as well.
Why isn't that still crossed out?
hands up.
No, the bottom part is crossed out, but the upper part shouldn't be. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I got it.
Hold on, I gotta get rid of this. It's redundant. I've had good heart in everybody. This was cut and pasted, so. All right, are we good? All right. In accordance with state law, all grants and gifts to the, it should say, okay, this didn't get changed. I think when I redid it, it didn't take all the things.
There's also a note that says suggestion rejected. I did not do that.
Sure, don't touch it. Don't touch it. Okay, shall be reviewed and accepted by the Holliston School Committee before expenditure or use. In the case of gifts, oh, what?
My hands are right here.
I'm not even on the, I'm not even on the document.
I'm not in it.
Okay, all I did
Because you're
was
doing
close
X?
Shared drive, I'm not going to have it.
Don't close it. That's saying, you're saying
Dawn
no.
is causing
What you should do is,
trouble tonight.
It's normal now, but it's back to normal.
I'm accepting it.
Okay.
Okay, there you go.
It was because of the suggestion.
Because it was in the suggestion box. I'm trying to
She's like,
close it.
click, no, okay.
Okay.
Was I? Okay, in the case, no, I'm not starting again. In the case of gifts from industry, business, or special interest groups, no extensive advertising or promotion may be involved in any donation to the schools. Gifts will automatically become the property of, I should say HBS. Any gift of cash, regardless of donor intent, will be accepted by vote of the HSC, kept separate from the general fund, and expended at the discretion of the committee as provided by law. The committee directs the superintendent to assure that an appropriate expression of thanks is given to all donors. Should it say or designate, or should it? Oh, that's fine. Okay, it's fine.
You could say superintendent designee, because if it's a school specific.
Yeah, I know.
It might be better.
All right, so again, this is reflecting a change in state law that says that we have to approve all gifts, no matter how large or how small, and it's really up to Mr. Boudet to figure out in what format that gets submitted to the school committee for our approval. That's a procedure thing, not us. This is just what we have to do. Yes, Keith?
So, so that means anything that, I'm thinking of the PTO perspective, so,
Everything.
Everything.
okay. I get that. Does that include like food?
Yes.
That we donate for Teacher Appreciation Week?
Yes.
Even though it's not monetary, if
Gifts, it's a gift.
It's a gift.
Oh, boy.
that's
I know.
property.
Trust me, we were sitting here going,
How does it become
why?
property, though?
Because it used to be something that was with it under $1,000 was like
but
not.
Also, I
no,
thought
it's
a
everything.
gift had to be something that isn't consumable,
That's what I'm.
right? Like, if we gave teachers T-shirts, gift, fine. But food, how do you, it's
How does it become your property?
Yes.
What I was
If
thinking.
it's edible, it's gone. Yeah. I'm happy to bring that back to
you just might
MASC
want to
and
ask
ask them.
that.
Yeah.
Because
Before
in
expenditure use, yeah.
Yeah, you don't want to have to.
I know,
For the
it's
school committee, every
ridiculous.
time you want to enter Doritos.
We talked about this a bunch.
Right, because we end up with it all
This
the
is way
time.
too
Yeah,
much.
that we wish we could.
We tried to find a way around it.
See, I mean, I think the language is a language, you can probably still vote on it, we just want to make sure that you're reading it the way it is. Because
Wait until after.
I would say expenditure, if you're expending something or using something, but eating
Right.
something, so that does seem a little bit of a stretch to me.
Wait till after.
Just because in my own industry, there are certain,
I'll wait and we'll ask the question. I
Yeah,
get it. I
that's
hear what you're saying.
Good point.
So, but I'll
Define
ask.
gifts.
Define it. Define
Yeah. Alright.
gifts to include food.
Well, what is a gift?
Moving happily back.
I think that's the question.
Oh, no,
Don't touch anything.
don't touch anything, Dawn.
so please, so this is just the, do we need to vote on edits or are we waiting?
We're waiting.
Let's wait.
To get clarification.
Okay, gotcha.
Consider, don't touch anything.
So that's everything. That's policy. We're done with policy.
Can I ask a question, Cynthia? Where are we at with the policy that Mr. Hicks helped us with?
We just approved it.
I'm sorry.
That was it?
No, not that.
IJ, the selection of instructional materials? We did.
The whole, no, but all the other pieces I thought we have.
Right.
We don't have to.
We don't have to, that's all
okay.
procedure.
Okay,
It's
just
the
making
policy.
sure.
That's what I was.
That's why I was
okay.
saying, we did that as part of a courtesy, and we all had input on it because we felt it was important
Connected
for us
to
to
it,
all
but that's
understand
true.
it.
Yeah, okay, that's-
We're not
Okay.
required to.
We were
It
just
made
making
sense
sure.
to get our input on it.
Thank you, I was just.
Thank you.
Because all the other pieces.
but
Where's qualifying? We're
Yes.
just making sure.
You are all set.
And you're not
Check.
crazy.
Perfect, okay.
You are
So
not
I need to
crazy.
move forward on that.
You may
Okay.
move forward.
Okay.
Away,
Thank
all
you.
right. So we are going to hold on the rest of them. And I will find out what constitute a gift as gifts of food consumables. Does that go for like wine too? And
Yeah, seriously, like,
sweet? Add that too.
Well,
All right.
What are gifts?
I don't think you'd be
well, you
donating that
can't,
to the
we won't be
school.
giving.
Simple question.
But, well, somebody might.
All right,
Okay, I'm out.
Moving right along. Central Office Administrators. Jessica?
So a few things I just, I wanted to update you on. The student representative tonight mentioned DECA, and yes, they did go to nationals recently, but also I did ask, I heard from Ms. Lang, the advisor, and I asked if the students would like to come present their experiences, because we've done so much with DECA this year, so they'll be coming to our 518 meeting and give you an update on that. Also, we had our Project 351 student, Sally Hebert, who's our 8th grade representative for the Project 351 this year. She's doing an awesome project on a library audit project with the middle school. So she's our student ambassador at Rams, and she will be coming to share what she's doing at the June 1st meeting. And then additionally, because I had shared with you in the past that we have the Celtics playbook, which is also part of Project 351, but it's separate as well. They're trying to do some of the same work and promote community and DEI and all of that. But our two representatives for Celtics playbook under that group is Danielle Portal and Calagan. I've shared out about them before, but I asked if they would come and present their experiences because they've done some extensive training with some of our leaders at the middle school to help train them to now lead some of this work. So I thought if they could give us an update, that would be great to hear. That I've seen some of their work. They've done an awesome job. Aladdin was last week at Rams, and I was able to see the dress rehearsal. I was able to attend, and that was great. And I was able to tweet out some of the pictures of the students there. I think I saw someone's child there, if I'm not mistaken.
You did.
And then yesterday, the Safe Routes to School happened at Miller,
Yeah.
Placentino, and Rams. I don't know if anyone already said that, but I know Joni was able to attend some of that. I was not able to make it this year. Teacher appreciation. Interesting enough, I know that's happening next week, but then there's also the National Teachers Day was 5/2. So a shout out for both. And it's the National Day, and then there's also Teacher Appreciation Week. We also celebrated Principals Day on 5/1. The Nurses Day will be on 5/6. Administrative Assistants was on 4/26. Para Appreciation was on 4/5. So there are so many staff that aren't even included on that list, but we as a central office team did try to send out thank yous to all staff, regardless of if they fit in that category, because we want to show our appreciation to them. So hopefully they got those in their mailboxes this week. And then I just want to remind again that the feedback survey for the high school principal search, after the principals presented tonight for the webinar, it will be open until 5 p.m. tomorrow, and get that feedback to us so that we can determine next steps and move forward with the process. I think that's it for now. Thank you.
Thank you.
Dr. Keska said some things. I will add, though. I had the pleasure of going to the Holliston Historical Society today for a field trip. So it was wonderful seeing our students interacting and having some fun doing some hands-on activities. We will be coming out with 2 more curriculum newsletters this year, so be looking out for that. We will be having a upcoming teaching and learning parent information evening. It was supposed to be on a night that we rescheduled the school committee, so we're going to Plan B. So I will let people know, and I will be sending out a Bright Arrow announcement to all community members. And finally, our curriculum reviews are continuing with math, pre-K through 12, and our secondary ELA. The committee does produce a report. As you know, it goes to Dr. Kuska. Once she approves it, it will go to you for approval. So we'll keep you in the loop on that.
Yeah, I do want to clarify, because it was kind of a quick communication, and we had some conflicts because some of our staff have to present, and the June 22nd was the day after school gets out. So in order to get the presentations in, they're scheduled, and due to the change last week and people's availability, we did have to change. And I had reached out to Catherine and Minnie about that, so I apologize for the inconvenience, but it was really about trying to get the presentations in before school gets out as well.
When will we see that curriculum review report?
The last school committee meeting. So when is that?
That would be the 15th.
The 15th.
So we're meeting June 1st and June 15th.
Great, thank you. Mr. Boudet?
I have nothing, thank you.
All right, staffing updates?
Let me pull up. I have, so at our last school committee meeting, there were some comments about the number of staff turnover and a concern about retaining staff, which clearly we're always interested in doing our best in trying to make sure we support and retain staff. I do want to correct some misinformation, or just maybe without the data, it's hard to understand what the data was explaining. And then I did receive a lot of questions after that from school committee members and other people about the number of staff that have exited in the last few years. So I'm going to go back first to 2017, just to give you overall numbers. Turnover by year, because that kind of paints a picture as well. So 2017 to 2018, there was 31 resignations or terminations, depending on but they're all in the same category. 31 for 2017-18, 2018-19, pre-COVID, there were 48. Then we get into 2019-20, and we had COVID at the end, and I think people just stayed put because nobody knew what was going on. So there were 41 turnovers that year. 2021, in the height of COVID, every district was seeing a huge amount of turnover, and we also added positions. That year, there were 96 turnovers. And some of them would be the same position, so sometimes it's not even, it's like the same position we filled for one day, and then that person exited, because it might be, a lot of them were paraprofessionals, and we saw sometimes the same position was filled 3 times because of just people learning to jump into the district and maybe not know what the position was. The following year, our 21-22 last year, we had 97 positions turnover, and then in 2023, thus far, we've had 26. So for 2, 4, 6 years, 31, 48, 41, 96, 97, 28. But I wanted to talk a little bit more about position, because I think it's confusing, because it sounded like a really big number, so I wanted to tease into that. So if you look at the positions that turned over, for the ones I think that are the most significant, and I'll be happy to answer other questions, but paraprofessional turnover has been the most significant, and we've talked to you about that frequently. Literally, when I say that people were being hired, and they might start for one day, and what was often happening, they were hiring and start for a day or 2 in some cases, and then literally find an open position, and the people are competing for jobs, and might find a position in a neighboring district, and maybe it paid more, and they resigned without any notice, and we'd be filling it the next week, and I can tell you that frequently happened. So for 2021, there were 30 paraprofessionals exiting in 2021, 49 in 21-22, and so far this year, 15. Now, we do see para turnover in the summer, so I'm sure that number will come up a little bit, but in general, that was a total of 94 for the 3-year. For the secretaries, we had 0 in 2021. We had some retirements and changes in 21-22. We had 6, 22-23, we've had 1. Then if you look at teachers, which I know is a category that there was it appeared that there was a misunderstanding that we've had a significant teacher turnover. And yes, probably a little bit more, definitely more in COVID years. We had 35 in 2021, 34, 21, 22, and this year 10. So far, if you look at the total, 96 positions in 2021, 97 in 21-22, 26 in 22-23. You know, there's still time, so we will see that number rise, but clearly it is stabilizing, which was what we predicted. And then one of the things I'd like to highlight is, I've talked about before, we're seeing in a number of our neighboring districts a lot of reduction in force because of budgetary impact. We have been very conservative and careful and not hiring positions that were COVID-related or adding them to the budget that they could be sustained, so we hired temporary positions, so we're not seeing that right now. Clearly, you know, things could change in the future, but right now we're in a good place in trying to sustain what we have. I did also want to add some of the positions that I mentioned for 2021. 13 of those were COVID positions out of that 96 total. So, you know, the details do matter and paint a different story.
Do you mean they were temporary?
Temporary. They were the 1-year positions that we added to help with the classroom coverage. I'm happy to answer any other questions. I have more details if you wanted them, but I don't want to labor on it.
And I would imagine a significant portion of this are retirements, is that correct?
So I can tell you retirement numbers as well, because the reasons for each area. So if you look at, I think I can open it up. So for example, for paraprofessionals that, if you want me to go by year, if they left, and we don't always have the very specific, but she tried to categorize, I mean, Lisa did a great job. Those that were non-renewed, 0 in 2021, 3 in 21-22, 0 so far in 22-23. Other employment, again, like I described, people moving, maybe higher pay or different things, 10 in 2021, 13 in 21-22, 6 in 22-23. For personal reasons, sometimes a job closer to home and things like that, or some of them during COVID might just not return to work, so the personal reasons we didn't always know either. 16 in 2021, 31 in 21-22, 6 in 2020, 22-23. So it really appears like we are seeing this kind of breadth of now people kind of settling down and staying put and wanting to remain in the district, so that's a good sign. For retirement, we had 4 paras retire in '21, 2 in '22, and 3 in '23. And then similarly, if I'm just looking at the teachers, which is our larger group there, we had, let me just get down to that. So for teaching positions, we had 1 in '21, we had 1 COVID position, that was a temporary position, and 0 in '22 and '23. Non-renewals, sometimes not a good fit, because again, when we're competing for staff, sometimes in order to try to get someone in front of students, we weren't always getting the best candidates, so non-renewals would be 2, and then 7 and 3 this year. So 2 the first year, 7, and then 3. Those that indicated other employment, 8 in '21, 8 in '22, and this year, 4 so far. Personal reasons, 13, 10, 3. Retirement, again, I really see, you really can hear the impact when I read this number. So 11 teachers retired in 2021, 9 in '22, and then this year, they're not listed, but I think we're going to have 2.
2 right now, yep. 2 looking over.
So significantly reduced. So I just want to paint that picture because I feel the news is good. We're seeing things settle down and people staying put. I think the people that exited for personal reasons, COVID, safety, whatever the reasons were, are now kind of readjusting, and this year is looking pretty close back to normal from pre-COVID.
And I just want to echo that this sort of like bell curve of returning to normal, that's also reflected in the national averages. Like, it's not specific to Holliston. It's happening everywhere, in rural and inner city and everywhere, that the stress of COVID and, the unusual situation, that those unprecedented times that we keep talking about, there was a lot of it, and it wasn't just us.
Yeah. No, and that's why I wanted to reassure people that people aren't fleeing the district. We saw what we all predicted, and it wasn't surprising, and I think the news is looking very positive, not negative.
And I also think, too, I think we sometimes also forget, change is good, and to stay in one place for a long time someone can be stagnant, Mr. Boudard. Sometimes. He's looking at me. He's giving me the dirty eye. So I just think we have to, again, the devil's in the details, and, really be considerate about what we're talking about. I didn't say you were stagnant. I just said.
You put my name right in there.
Well, you kept giving me the evil eye, so.
Thank you. I think that helps a lot. Okay, reports from subcommittees. Communications?
I have done nothing because I've been doing superintendent evaluations. We'll stand up. We'll have to have a meeting soon and have one more newsletter before the year is over. But do people have ideas for what they want in the newsletter? That would be helpful. I mean, obviously we're going to report on town meeting, budget stuff, but aside from that, are there particular things people want highlighted off the top of your head?
I almost think you should just stick with town meeting. That's important enough.
If something comes up, can we email you?
Yes.
Okay.
What about Day on the Hill? Was there anything of significance we should include in that?
I could, there's not, like...
It's just something to think about, and then include if you think there was something.
Yeah.
Was there good news? No good news.
There was not great financial news, let's put it that way. I don't want to get doom and gloom on everybody right now, so we're not going to do that, but there were some concerns. But that doesn't necessarily mean it will negatively impact us. It's just, I don't think the numbers were what they expected, so. But we might have some good news that comes out. Next week, the Senate sends out their numbers next week, so we'll know more. It was a productive day. I was glad we went. We spent an hour in Senate President Spickle's office, so that's good. She wasn't there, but that's okay. I still had a raise.
Okay.
Policy.
Policy.
Next meeting is next week, May 11th, Thursday, May 11th, from 2:30 to 4:30 at Central Office.
Awesome. Budget?
We will schedule another meeting in advance of the May 18th meeting.
Sorry, say that again?
We will schedule another meeting in advance. Is our next meeting May 18th?
Yes.
Yeah.
Right, so I don't have the date yet.
Okay.
But do we need to meet before town
I
meeting?
was going to
That's
say,
what I
and
was
we'll
gonna
probably
ask.
meet before town
Something
meeting too.
on town meeting evening to meet, just in case there's some that night.
I don't think we're scheduled to meet before town meeting unless Keith or any of the other members on the subcommittee feel like we need to.
I don't know that you need to. I mean,
We always
But we
have
always
it as
schedule-
a placeholder,
Yeah.
Right,
just
as
in
a general
case.
meeting before
Yeah.
town meeting, specific on budget. So you want a
Yes.
specific budget subcommittee meeting
Yes.
scheduled as well?
No,
You mean a
No,
general?
we do all of
town-
us.
Yeah.
we do all of us,
Right.
yeah, it's not a subcommittee
You're right,
meeting.
but Dawn was
It's a full
saying, do
meeting.
we need to have a
Oh, I
budget
don't think so.
subcommittee beforehand?
Unless something
No.
catastrophic happens.
I don't think, no budget before town meeting, but ideally budget.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing would have been because of the April revenues being so low, but
Yeah.
the governor said she's not doing 9C cuts, so
Right.
there's no impact with that
Right.
23. Thus, 24 is at least stable,
Yeah.
so, so we'll see.
Did the finance committee make their recommendations, and is our recommendation the same as theirs for our budget? That's what we need. Okay, if it's the same, then we're
Yeah, we
fine,
don't need
right?
another.
They've gone to press, I know that. so.
Yeah, it's-
Yeah.
Right, I
There's
haven't been
some
able to
questions
watch
about
that.
outside reports, but yeah, they've gone to press, so.
Okay, so we need to post for the 15th.
we just need to put, yeah, let's go to 15th for the full committee.
But not for the budget subcommittee.
No,
Not
just
for
for the full
budget.
committee.
So maybe 6 o'clock?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
is there a lot of other? I mean,
Yeah, we'll have to see who's already grabbed, if anybody's grabbed the library already, or
Yeah.
we're going to post.
But also
Usually,
just,
but we all.
We just all kind of all stay,
Yeah,
we just go in
take a
order.
spot.
We just have to get the cushy chairs to get her first.
that's what I was.
I'm all going to be here one night.
All right. School start times. Mr. Boudet, can you give us an update?
Sorry. We've met. There's a possibility that me, Homes, Transportation, we're talking about the possibility of combining instead the Miller and middle school routes on 15 buses, and then running the Placentino children at the same time, but not on the same buses as the high school. I haven't gotten confirmation from the state because nobody seems to want to own the law, but the idea behind it is that what we would do is, again, we can fit all the children on Placentino buses. That's, the 9 is not the issue. The runs may be a little longer, some runs may be a little longer, but again, the 9's not the issue. The issue is with the 6 buses for high school students. And it's less about the volume as opposed to the distance traveled and how we'd have to do it. And the plan would call for the buses to basically go up and down major roadways, and people have to matriculate themselves to those stops. So we would not be going deep into neighborhoods and things of that nature. So it'd be cutting down, say, the mileage of our routes, but still providing a service, making a service available. Doing that, and again, Holmes is not sure. Heather and I have to go and literally drive out certain things. I mean, we're going to take a bus out, one of their buses, take a bus out and drive around one day and just kind of get a feel for it. Again, the challenge with the state is that law explicitly states that we have to have bus stops within a half a mile of a person's home. I don't know if that applies, which was my question. I don't know if that applies, and I've called once the Attorney General's office for Attorney of the Day, and they said they're going to get back to me, and once to Business Services at DESE with regards to, again, because they administer what we have to do. So, and they said nobody's ever asked that question. I said, great. But in areas where we don't have to provide transportation, high school students do not have to be legally transported. Do we have to follow this law if we offer it? And it was a simple question. Well, I mean, not simple. It's not a simple answer, but it's a simple
seems
question.
simple.
It's a simple question, may not be a simple answer. So that's, the two components is whether by law we can do kind of the idea I floated out there to Holmes, and then if we can, if the law makes it okay, then can we actually execute it? So that's right now, I think, our best hope of being able to have the Miller and Placentino buses be one run apart. So we'd go from a 3-run day to a 2-run day, basically.
So, and your Miller third graders would be on the same bus as your Rams 6th, 7th, and 8th graders?
Correct.
Is that correct? Okay.
Correct.
And your Placentino and high school kids would then start at 8:55?
No.
No, I'm sorry.
They would be the first run.
They would be first, so, I'm sorry, so Placentino in high school starts at 8:10, and then Miller and Rams would start at 8:55.
Something like that.
And
it may not be
you
8:10, it may be
have
8 or something. I mean, we have to work out the details of that piece of it. And again, dealing with
Might as well
schools.
push that later if we're going to do that.
You know,
That's why I would push it earlier.
Again, I just have to see whether it's possible
Okay.
first before we
Yeah,
start
we
talking
start
about
with that.
actual times.
Fine, okay.
Because then we get back into discussions like we did however many years ago now, somebody's going to tell me of that, before the pandemic, which means I have no idea what year.
Exactly.
But we have to figure out at that point, what times do we want to assign that? Because of whether it be for athletics or after-school clubs, what does this mean for the late bus run? I mean, it revisits a lot of those things that we'd already visited and made a determination of, but this would, by putting these together in this fashion, it would alleviate the challenges that families are having with the Miller and Placentino runs being a full run apart, a gap of a run, or 2 runs apart, however you want to look at it.
But it would also address what we've been talking about, which is buses crossing Washington from Miller to the high school. Like, that's from Rams to the high school. That's where we get caught up in the
traffic.
timing and the traffic. Like, we can't. That is such a gargantuan feat that having them be the same run ends up taking much longer than we thought it would because of the traffic at that time of day.
Aren't they still going to have that, though? Because
No,
if
because
you're-
Miller and the high school would be on its own run, so it's not dependent on stopping off a different school. The middle school would be on the run with the 100 numbers down or 90 numbers down the street.
So Keith, Placentino kids, are they still picked up at driveway, or you're saying up to a half?
No. The Placentino children, while we may bundle some, and we did a better job this year. I mean, we did get some complaints, there's no question about it. But outside of kindergartners, we did a much better job this year of putting, of having more neighborhood bus stops as opposed to individual bus stops. So that improved this year. We cut down the number of bus stops on the Placentino run.
Okay, and in our high school, about how many kids do we still have taking the bus in terms of?
I don't know off the top of my head. Being honest, I just don't know.
As you look into it, so we know kind of what we'd be putting out there, if you are allowed to go over this half mile, can we get an idea of exactly what that is? Because if we're having.
It's either a half mile or it's unlimited. It's one or the other.
Right, but I'm saying if it's unlimited, if you.
Oh,
find it to be
okay. You're
true,
saying what would it turn
What
into?
are you actually asking kids? Because I'd be uncomfortable with asking, a 14-year-old to walk 1.5 miles or 2 miles along, say, Prentice Street, right?
To get a bus.
To get a bus.
Exactly.
But if you're telling me it's a half mile or maybe 3/4 of a mile and these are streets with sidewalks, that's
No, I understand.
different.
I understand. It's, again, in reviewing it initially with Holmes, again, we had, I don't make it sound like we're driving down Washington Street and kids from the Queens have to make it to Washington Street. That was not the
Okay.
case. But that being said, I mean, there's no doubt that there'd be more than a half a mile in some instances. But at some level, we're kind of trapped. You know what I'm saying?
Understood.
It's, the star nature of the road layout in Holliston from the center of town, down Central, up Washington, it's
But you're
just,
losing middle school drop-off, which will buy you 10 minutes, maybe.
in theory, yes.
Yeah.
But then by trying to do Placentino and high school at the same time, you're making the time there too, you know what I mean? So,
It's, again,
But it's not the same bus.
yeah.
it's the
Right, but it will lengthen their routes because there's less buses.
Right.
But for
Right.
purposes of the community and as this gets out, I mean, feasibly, are we talking for people who have to
Not
line
for
up
this September, no.
and work schedules?
No.
You do not anticipate all of this can be worked out by
No.
next year, but it's an ongoing pursuit, and these are the things. you're
Right, because again, we're not confident yet that this is going to work out with regards to the 6 buses for the high school from a timing perspective. I know there's people sitting at one of the tables here that if I said, well, we can do it, except that the high school run's going to be an hour long, and now we're picking up high school kids at 7 a.m. again, that's going to go over, at best, like a lead balloon, at worst, a lead balloon over my head. So I'm, being cognizant of that, it has to be a reasonable plan. And so,
But I also think this just, further emphasizes that we have capital projects right now coming onto town meeting floor about sidewalk projects, and this is one of the reasons why we should probably approve them, because if you are going to increase the distance that some students might need for a bus stop, they need to be a safe place with sidewalks.
Agreed. And again, it's just tough to work with some of the constraints that we have, much less a bridge being out. But, the constraints are always the challenge. And, again, I just had a weak moment, a couple months ago when I said, well, what if we did this? And now it's kind of mushroomed on me for work that I really wanted. So, but we'll continue plugging away.
Thank you, Keith. And also to just add, this, you didn't say anything against this, but this is super, super preliminary, so don't worry, lots of discussion and information will be presented before any decisions are made.
Not next September.
No, definitely not next September. And we haven't given up the idea of using the easement or whatever, but that's more long-term. It would involve a ton of planning and
Legal stuff.
There's challenges, between whose land it is, where it is, stuff like that. And then in addition to where the road for the easement would have to go, we don't know what's in the dirt.
Right.
We don't know if it's a big hunk of granite or it's a big pile of dirt. And, until
But the
we
thing
bore a
is,
hole.
even if we had that road there, that actually, it wouldn't solve a whole heck of a lot, because, it would make the traffic flow better, but it's still getting buses across Washington Street at that time of morning. That's the problem. It's making the run so big. So although we haven't abandoned that idea, I don't know if anyone drives through Sherborne often, but they have this sort of back entrance. It's actually, they use it as an exit, and it's just an exit. And I was just describing it to Keith. It's sort of like the pie in the sky dream of what it could look like someday, but someday is not anytime soon. And again, I think for the traffic flow at the schools, it's a good idea to keep it on the back burner, but it doesn't actually solve anything in terms of the fact that the middle bus run is too big to fit in between the other two start times. So I just wanted to say that we haven't abandoned it, but it doesn't really solve anything.
Thank you for continuing to work on this. I know it's a lot of work.
I think you put some things to bed,
Okay. Old business, the vaccine update?
Yes, so something was brought to my attention, and I think we just kind of forgot about because of the fact that we had an MOU in place last year that ended on June 30, 2022, and that MOU is in place for HFT members. So in effect, when the MOU ended, all of the benefits, things like COVID sick days and everything else, and then the mandate for the COVID vaccine that you had voted on also ended for HFT with that. However, because you voted as well, then the recommendation from our lawyer was that you probably should just vote to rescind it, because there are non-union members that technically would still be under that, and we would want to make sure we're not using that. The pandemic is, we think, moved away, so it's timely to try to get that language out so we don't have to have that in our job postings any longer.
So just in my discussion, you were asked us to, that's the policy subcommittee, but I forgot to put it on the agenda, so I just did it myself. So when I talked with other districts about, whether they had that requirement, Holliston was kind of an outlier in having a requirement for a vaccine. I believe Ashland was the only other one around us that required
I think
it.
Hopkinton did as well.
It was not required. There was a lot of suggestions, strongly encouraged. There was a lot of that language, but there was nothing that I could find that said you must. So
I'm
we're kind of an
sorry.
outlier in that.
Did you check Dover Sherburne? Because I remember talking with Kathleen.
I did, but I
Smith,
didn't
and
find
I thought
the
she told me they
language.
did too, but that's my.
But maybe it's buried, or maybe they
Or it's
rescinded
gone,
it
right.
as of whenever that happened.
Yeah.
But in the last, month when I was looking at it. Any issues around, hiring practices, paraprofessionals, et cetera, those were, they had the same issues that we did in terms of what their openings were without having that requirement. That being said, no one, when I spoke with I emailed with Jess BA back and forth about whether there's some concerns about, kids with special needs and if this was going to change anything for them. And, she had indicated, as others had indicated, that anyone who was already having issues that were kids that were medically fragile, their world did not change. Like, they were still continuing to be concerned about RSV and all these other issues as well. So there really wasn't any further impact that they felt that we should keep that in place. So I don't see any reason why we can't rescind it.
So it's off of the, language is off of the hiring, the job
Yes,
listing?
so
Well,
that
that's
would be
where
off
it's
of
showing
job
up
postings.
still.
Yeah,
So-
so we have to rescind it in order for that to be
So
removed.
we have to vote on that, and then that can be changed?
Correct.
Awesome.
Do you want to make a motion, Amanda?
Sure. I move that we no longer require staff to be vaccinated for COVID-19.
Can I make a
Yes,
suggestion?
please.
That we would, to rescind the COVID-19 mandate.
I've moved that we
Vaccine mandate.
rescind the COVID-19 vaccine mandate for staff.
Seconded by Stacy.
By Amanda, second by Stacy. All in favor? Thank you. Newsletter? No newsletter. New. School choice seats.
At 9 o'clock at night, do you want me to go through the process, or have you all seen that enough and just want to get to the business?
I know the
understand
process.
Does
Okay.
anybody have a?
Okay,
And
that's
oh,
fine.
you guys don't want to see the presentation with the motion?
Oh, no, he doesn't have the presentation.
Oh, he doesn't have
You
it.
did?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you
You've
just
got your
had
Prezi already lined up?
Yeah.
That's just me.
Did you use
President.
Canva this year?
Present.
Still has Prezi.
It's his old one.
Yeah.
He didn't make a new fancy one.
Oh, I made a new one.
Did you?
Well, I updated it, yes.
Okay.
As I
What
always
the
do.
current
As
numbers?
I always do. That's fine. So we can
Fine.
move on. We can move on.
Moving on.
Memo container in your packet regarding the school choice seats. We did have fewer requests this year, but it's mostly in kindergarten, which is just an interesting fact, but I don't know what it means. So I'd like to have an assumption why we had 19 requests in kindergarten, only 7 this year. But moving on. In working with the principals, the recommendations we'd like to offer for new seats are 6 high school seats. We are allowed to say high school, not specific grades, just because, again, if otherwise again, high school is not as grade specific, obviously. So on their class sizes, 2 and 8th grade. And you'll see through this, I also put how many seats and then how many siblings.
Only 6 in high school?
What?
Sorry, I just feel like that number seems low compared to
No,
previous
the
years.
most I think we've ever added is 10.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we have 15
But we
kids
have
graduating
18
this
looking.
year.
That's okay. But this, again, we try to use school choice to balance out grade sizes.
Yeah.
Because it's the easiest to plan as a district if we had 212 children in each grade. So,
I just feel like I would add more high school seats.
well, again, this is your vote, not mine. So, 6 high school seats, we account for our 2 siblings. 2 8th grade, 2 7th grade, 2 6th grade accounts for our 1 sibling. 2 5ths, 2 3rds. 2 3rds gets both siblings. 1 2nd grade seat for the 1 sibling. 1 Montessori.
Is it Montessori seat?
Montessori. The kindergarten enrollment this year left a great large space in Montessori and a smaller space, but still a significant space in French immersion.
Wow.
So those, we didn't have a lottery and plenty of room.
Wow.
Plenty of room at the end.
Is that the first time in?
Yeah.
For both, probably. Montessori had been extremely hot for a period where we actually went from 2 classes in 3rd up to 3.
That's right,
Yeah.
yeah.
To accommodate that. it's not so low that we need to make an adjustment down. And again, adding the seats here makes sense.
Yeah.
If we had more interest going forward, you'd probably see me come and ask for another recommendation on it. But at this stage, again, we have a customer, we'd like to invite them.
Am I mistaken that last year we didn't have to do the lottery either? I feel like
We did not have to do the lottery
No.
last year either,
No.
but we had an available Montessori, I think, there may have been a lottery Montessori, it was close.
There wasn't in French, no,
we
last
did
year.
not, because we had like 3 or 4 available seats, and we added 1 or 2 French students there.
Yeah.
Yes, Dawn?
Keith, if we have a lower than normal kindergarten, is our school choice, maybe I do need your presentation, is school choice closed or can people still apply?
People still apply.
Okay, so it is still open, so you could come back to us if 8 more kindergartners apply to
Absolutely.
this. And we
There's
can
there's
fill that
nothing
class.
preventing me
Okay.
from returning
Yeah.
anytime you have a meeting.
And
Yeah.
how long is it open for?
Technically, the state requires us to have a second potential lottery or drawing in November. We never add seats that late, so
Right. But you'll take applications through, like, the,
November.
okay.
We don't, there's always room at the
Over
end.
the
We
summer,
have-
we always
Over the
get
summer.
others.
Yes,
Yeah.
I mean, there'll always be some kids. And again, it's my normal spiel to you
Yep.
guys is, there's the shopping families, and high schools are shopping and
Yeah.
Placentino's not.
That's why I was saying, just
Yeah.
add more high school because it's shopping.
Yeah, I'd like to see us add more high school seats because, and full disclosure, I was contacted by somebody, no one's ever contacted me before, but somebody advocating for a kid wanting to go to our high school, and that's a nice compliment to us that people want to go to our high school. And if you look at the class size numbers, our high school class sizes
That's what I'm saying, yeah.
are fine.
Yeah.
201, 206, 201 compared to a lot larger in like 6, 7, 8, then those 8th graders, we're going to lose some of those to private schools next year anyway. So that 215,
That's going to go down.
who knows?
Remember.
But if we're losing 15 kids just from graduation alone, I don't see why we can't offer more spots. Because right now, we've basically got 16 kids vying for only 4 spots at the high school because we have 2 siblings.
Yeah.
So the 2 siblings are automatically going to get 2 of the 6 seats. That leaves 4 seats. So that's 16 kids for 4 spots. It's a lot of, I feel like we could do better than that.
Keith, I might be on board with that too, but I did want to ask, is there anything that that you could tell us about the 18 high school applications with more specificity, like 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, that gives you pause about increasing size? For example, if we're talking about 9th grade and it's at 212 and you're telling me, well, 10 more of them all want 9th, is there anything that gives?
I'll try to use my memory best I can. There was 1 12th, 1 or 2 11ths, maybe 3 10ths.
Okay.
It was,
And then the rest was
Or-
incoming 9th,
or
which
9th.
makes
It was
sense
probably
because
10
that's
ninth
when
graders.
kids transition.
Right.
Okay.
But we lose a lot of kids.
We do lose.
We do.
Between
Yeah.
8th and
I'm
9th
for
grade.
9.
If we want to get down to the specificity, I would add more of the 9th grade seats. If we can do that.
You can do whatever you
Yeah.
want. It's just, again, this is your vote. And the more you restrict the vote, it's the reason why we do restrictions and very specific in kindergarten.
Yeah.
Because we want to
No, I
create
know.
spots based on program. The other end of it, though, is that if you restrict high school by that, you could end up challenged as well, we'll say, with regards to seats.
I
It's
don't want to
it's
see us just add 9th graders.
No, I'm not saying just like that, I'm just saying that we could add,
Keith, I think I missed it. Why are you not recommending to have 15 high school seats?
Because again, we always try to balance out as much as possible.
Yep.
And we've never added 15 seats. Also, 15 kids are not going to come from that pile. I
no,
will
but 2 of them are
guarantee
siblings,
you.
so it's really 4 seats only, really.
I will guarantee you that. Of the group that's there, I will tell you, the high school is usually about a 20 to 25% acceptance rate. It just is.
So then let's
then-
open up.
that's why I was
So
saying
then
let's open
if
them.
that's the case, then why wouldn't we just open it?
Sorry. because truthfully, I think that with 6, I'm going to meet everybody's needs, in all honesty. But again, if you want to add more seats, we'll take more seats.
We can table it.
What's the
I don't want to
yield
table
rate?
it.
What's the yield rate? If
Don't-
we,
I mean, vote
He's
on it,
saying
but then
only
come back to us if
25%.
there's more.
25% is the
That's what I'm
yield.
saying.
yeah.
Yeah,
So,
only 25%.
I mean, why
exactly.
not have 18 seats and then,
How many?
Because adding students during the year can be disruptive, both, or more of a challenge with regards to, them missing a good portion of first term or possibly all of first semester.
No, I think
When
she's
it starts
saying
with the teachers.
for next, like for now, to vote to allow 18. And that's what she's asking.
yeah, I'm not talking about adding middle of the year, I'm
No,
talking
no,
about
no.
this.
But once they're open, they're
Once
open.
they're
You'd have
open,
to- you'd
they're
have to-
open indefinitely,
Right.
yeah. So,
Well, but we
okay.
don't have to add people
No, we
through
don't.
the year.
If there's seats open, you have to add people during the year.
Yeah.
It's the reason you have a vote. If the way the law works, I should have reviewed the law. The way the law works is that right now, until you vote not to open seats, every child gets to come, regardless of grade, regardless
Yeah.
of space, regardless of anything. You are, while I'm telling you you're voting to open seats, technically you're closing seats, and leaving, you close everything, you're opening these just few, the few numbers that I'm putting here. So it's, when it's open, it's open.
Okay. Well, 2 of them are siblings, so it's really only 4 seats at the high school. So I would just say maybe we could add a couple.
That, you pick a number you are comfortable with, and I'm not trying to be flippy,
I know,
and
I know,
I'm
I know.
not, I'm just saying,
I'd rather go with the 15, I think. Sorry, why are you
Sorry.
warming up her
beating
hand.
me?
I'm not beating you.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd rather go, I'm with Stacy, I'd rather go with 15. I'd rather the higher number.
Is it?
It is difficult to time
If we
closing
do
seats
15,
because
if we don't
again,
fill the 15, we need to
well, no, it's not
leave
losing them.
like
It's-
November.
It's if we
Do you get what
open
I'm
too
saying?
many,
Yeah, but
try to
then
time
that's
out
their
when to
choice
close
to
them.
come in
No, but
November.
then why are they coming?
I get somebody applying on Wednesday and you can't close them on Thursday
Sometimes
because
the
it's
kid
already
just needs a
gone.
fresh start.
Yeah. That's exactly
Or they're
what.
expelled.
Okay, I'm
Yes.
just saying it's
Well, no, you can hold
disruptive.
them
I
before
think
then,
that
but I mean-
if somebody wants to come into the
Disruptive
district.
for the
but here's-
kid.
Yeah, for both. But I also think that it's,
Or they're
if
expelled
there's
from
someone,
somewhere
they could be
else.
expelled from something else, yes, that's true. So,
If
but
they're
the other is
expelled
that
someone
But with the
somewhere
new
else, do we
laws-
have to take them?
they can be
If they're
expelled.
expelled, the expulsion rules have changed greatly in
Yeah.
the last, 10 years, 12 years. Way back when us old people started in this industry, when you were expelled from one Massachusetts public school, you were expelled from all.
Yikes.
Okay?
Case.
It's not the case anymore. Not the case anymore. We expel a student, we're still responsible for educating them through private means. So it's, so
But do we have to take a school choice student that has been expelled from somewhere else?
you can't, they used to allow you to check a child's disciplinary records.
don't
You don't
can't
always
anymore.
find out
You
until
don't know.
after.
This is a blind.
And I'm going to give you an example. I had a student from in a previous district that they wanted a school choice in because of the vocational component. And in effect, it was vocational, we actually were losing money because the money that the town paid was less than the per pupil expenditures, but that's a separate thing. But this student had a felony that was not shared because it was a different DA's office and came into the district and then was found out to not be able to be on premises, and we were then liable to then pay the home tutoring. I was able to get an agreement from the other superintendent to say, hey, we shouldn't be absorbing this, and they also withheld a little information, not the superintendent, but somebody knew something, let's just
Okay,
say.
but this is where, I mean,
That's the tricky stuff to that.
I don't want to assume that of our 18 applicants,
No, I don't think that's what-
some of them have felony.
No, we're not saying anything
No,
about
we're
that.
not
She was
saying
saying,
that.
why would someone come in late in the year is what I thought they were trying to
There's-
ask.
yeah,
That's
Yeah,
how they
But
came about
what
it, I don't
I'm
know.
hearing is, even though we have 18 applicants, if the yield rate is only 25%, then essentially we can, right? Correct me if I'm wrong, we can only expect 5 to actually want to come.
Right, but if those seats are left open, they have to be left open through November,
Right, so what I'm saying,
I don't think they have to be left open until you close them.
till we close.
So you could close it
Okay, so we can
in
vote to
July or
so
August or
Keith's
something.
thinking
No,
was
in September to
6
close
seats should be
Okay.
plenty.
End of September, whatever.
Sure, all right.
Beginning of September.
Put it on the
I don't
agenda
care.
to close them. But Keith, do you have any more information on numbers that we're losing to Keefe or Norfolk Aggie or anything else that would help us on this?
We did not get
this
we
year.
did not get the numbers, the final numbers from Keefe yet.
Do we know applications? How many
The applications
do you know?
were, oh gosh,
I'm sorry. Were they similar to last year, which was how?
Hold on, just talk amongst yourselves.
I think Keith texted me.
Well, they also have
about the culture coming up.
Oh, I can't put it here, hold on. There we go.
That's what I'm hearing.
Jeez, good catch. Wow.
I'm going to have the names. 7 is the current applications.
For where?
For Norfolk.
Oh.
Keith, I don't get any information from on.
There were a lot. I just know
Yeah.
from parents.
If we're really scrutinizing high school, then I want us to also look at sixth grade and why we're only accepting 2 if 7 are applying. Is there any reason, based on the class size, that people are don't have the same feeling
It
about
was
sixth
just
grade?
recommended from the principals.
Yeah, but that's very specific to class size, because in everywhere except for the high school, it directly impacts class size. Whereas at the high school,
It's not.
there's so many classes you can't.
Can spread them out.
There's 4 different, levels, so it's, the average class size is like
We were just
14.
in a walkthrough, and there were classes with 6 kids or 5 kids, or
exactly.
there were some really small class
But
sizes.
there's also very large classes for some things too. Okay. I mean, I think the answer on Keith's spreadsheet is sixth grade has an enrollment of 222 with an average class size of 22. So that's probably the reason to keep it at 2, even though 7 are applying. Okay. I just wanted us to look at both if we can use the same.
So if we add the 15 to the high school, the total number of open seats is 31?
I haven't even done my presentation yet.
It's 26
That's
right
adding
now.
9 to 26.
How many more were you?
9 we'd be
9
adding.
more.
Oh,
So it'd be 30.
Yeah, 35.
Where am I down here? 9, 35, yep.
And then we can vote to close it in September.
But Keith, does 35 really make you uncomfortable, like make you want to throw up? Because I respect your recommendations, I just,
It doesn't make me throw up. I think it's.
okay, good.
It's a,
'Cause I can't deal with that.
it's a, again, I try to put realistic numbers down, and, again, it's your right to open whatever seats. You can open up every grade everywhere. That's, again, within your purview. We try to manage this closely. The reason this program's been a success is because we manage it closely. And back in the days when we used to be able to ask for disciplinary records, I always felt much more cavalier in putting some of the numbers out, I'm not going to lie.
Now we can't.
And I can't tell you who's going to win a lottery, but, the more seats, the more risk, so.
Yeah.
Is 10,
I
I really feel like at the high school level, and I think why you have those applications, is for some cases, there might, some of those students might need a fresh start.
Okay, so
And
can we
I-
ask this then?
and we're so much mental health stressors, and
That's what
when
I'm
you're
thinking.
hearing from kids say, I hate it here, I can't wait to get out of here, and I think I'm just sensitive to it because I'm like living in this high school world right now, I would feel better about offering more than 6 seats, but I don't want to.
So what if we said 10 as a compromise?
And we
You're
revisit.
not negotiating with me.
I know,
You're negotiating amongst yourselves.
What if we said 10 as a compromise?
What if we increased it from 6 to 10, but closed it and put it on our agenda in September, so we don't have extra kids coming in, which could be difficult for teachers come September.
Oh, can I
Well, I
ask
mean,
another
I think
question,
we
though?
want to do it at the end of August, or do we do it in August?
Can I-
We have an August, but we want to close that
So
early.
Keith, can I ask another
We
question?
want to see the number of
Okay.
people who've taken and where our wait lists are.
Okay.
In the event that there is a student, separately to this, in the event that there is a student that reaches out to the district that is looking to come into the district because of those issues, a family is going to contact us to say, listen, we're in Hopkinton, I'm making it up, or I'm in Hopkinton, but my kid's having a hard time, friend group, whatever it is, would we be able to take them in?
No.
if we voted, if you brought that to us and we said we can vote for that, doesn't have to know who the person is, but you can say, I would like to allow one student to come into the district.
I have
go
to
through the other
follow,
ones first.
I have to follow the lottery process.
Okay. But
So
we've-
if somebody
okay,
shows
let's
up,
just say we-
if somebody shows up in July, they're at the bottom of the list.
Okay. But, okay, but once we've closed our choice seats,
Yep.
what happens with those people?
Once November happens, the list gets torn up,
Yep,
and technically, if we're going to reopen seats or have open seats, I start all over again.
okay.
Unless we vote in September and close them.
But we can close them in September, and then we tear everything up in September. Is that true?
If we close them and we don't plan on reopening them in October, then yes, we're done.
Especially, just one more thing, especially with the block schedule as a teacher, if a kid is coming in November, they're coming halfway through my course. It's really, really disruptive.
Right, no, I'm all for closing. I think we up the number as much as we can and then close it in September.
So I guess my only question is we're flying a little blind here because we don't have the specificity as to grades. So if we voted for 15, Lisa, we could take a class that's 212 and turn it into, 227, which would be significantly higher than any of the other grades. And ninth grade is different than, say, 11th or 12th, where you do have a lot of variability with electives. So I'm just saying there's implications. If you go 15, you might be voting to have the largest class size for ninth
So
grade.
can we find out those numbers?
What?
How many applicants are going into ninth? versus-
11 ninths, 4 tenths, 3.
Wait, one more time?
If you look at the page 3 of my thing in your
Oh,
packet,
okay, all right, sorry. So why don't we let in all 10th, 11th, and 12th? So that would be 8, and then maybe half of the ninth graders?
59, but okay,
That'd be 14.
59.
Can you say
Oh, wait,
like
then
that?
you gotta
Does it
add
have to be in
siblings.
order of?
You can do it by grade. We just haven't found that an effective way.
Right. That's
Well,
what
I'm saying because there's so few 10, 11, 12.
It makes more sense, I think, to distribute them amongst the grades. I'm more comfortable with that than the possibility of adding
Especially
12, 13, 14
you have-
kids to one grade.
Okay,
You
so
have a differential
5,
of 9
4,
from
3,
212 to
1 is
11 is
9, 12.
190.
That's 13.
Yep.
That's a big difference.
If we do 13 seats, that will be 5 ninth graders, all 4 10th graders, all 3 11th graders, and the 1 senior.
maybe. Unless we do it, if we do it specifically by grade. If we
No,
do
I'm
it by-
proposing we do it
we do
specifically by grade.
grade.
5,
That I
4,
could
3, 1.
support.
Do you have any concerns about doing it specifically by grade?
The only concern I have is, I don't know anything about any of the students and who they are,
Right.
but a 12th grader, realistically, can they, if it's a catch-up issue, whatever, like if they're only here for 1 year, and they have to come in and our requirements are different and all that, and the way our terms run, it may be very challenging for the child to actually graduate on time. That would be my, are we setting them up for failure would be my only wonder. At least if
Isn't
they're
that
in
for
10th or
their
11th.
family to decide, though, not us?
True, but they may not understand the nuances
They
of
may
our
not
schedule,
know,
because I've
because we
had
have
parents come to me
block
this
scheduling. They don't
year that did not understand, and they've been there all along, and if the child's on an IP, whatever the situation was, but they
Well-
didn't understand the nuances of the quarter term and the,
But I think that's on us to communicate with incoming potential school choice families and say, hey, this is how Holliston does things.
you can, it's just, it's also about things that are offered in certain years. Like if they were missing something and it wasn't offered, there's just a lot of.
Like every single
very
course, like,
tricky,
oh, we
yeah.
just, we do
This is
physics
not-
in this
yeah,
year, and we
exactly.
do,
Yeah, 'cause
British
sometimes
lit
things
this
aren't
year
offered
and
every year.
American lit in this year, like it's very, it's very.
I think they need a fresh start. I think most people switching are switching because they need a fresh start somewhere
Yeah, I don't
else.
disagree with that, I
Or
just,
maybe
I
they're in a
have,
district that's not as strong as Holliston.
that has come up to me as a concern with kids that are supposed to be graduating this year, and they're just finding out now that they missed X, Y, Z, and they've been here all along. So our schedule does create some nuances that make it tricky.
Absolutely does.
On page 4, am I reading this right for 12th grade? The school choice candidate for 12th grade is a sibling?
Yes, we had a
All right, so so this is already.
So they know
Doesn't
about
even
the
need to
high
talk about
school
this.
the
already.
sibling does. That's a family who is actually returning they had multiple children here. I'm trying to be as generic as I can be. They had multiple children here. One went somewhere else. The other one stayed, so they still qualify as a sibling because they still have a sibling here.
So this is a moot point. We're taking that person anyway, because we take siblings
We
first.
should take siblings for sure.
Okay. So what's,
So I vote for,
I'm going to go for 12.
I propose 5 ninth graders, 4 10th graders, 3 11th graders, and the 1 12th grader, for a total of 13.
Can you say that one more time? Sorry.
5 ninth graders,
Yeah.
4 10th graders, 3 11th graders, and the 1 12th grader, for a total of 13 open seats
At the high school.
at the high school.
And then all the other.
and then everything else as listed or as recommended?
I'm making a motion to open 5 ninth grade seats, 4 10th grade seats, 3 11th grade seats, and 1 12th grade seat at the high school.
And everything else is listed.
And everything else.
Everything else recommended.
Everything else is recommended.
So that's a total of 35 seats?
35 seats. No.
It's the buttons below you gotta hit.
How many more is that?
Is it 33 seats?
Well, it was going to be 6, and now it's 13, so add
33
7, so
Okay, that's
33.
33 seats.
Okay.
Moved by Lisa.
And Keith, you can come back and say, you're all wrong, and this is what happened in the end. Feel free.
And we're putting it on the agenda to close it at the
Close
August
it in
meeting?
September.
yeah. Somebody has to remember
Or
to do
the
that.
August
Who's going to
meeting.
remember to do that?
Mr. Burdette.
Put in your notes, Mr. Boudet, please.
I got it.
Moved by Lisa.
Second by Dawn.
All in favor? Thank you.
That took longer than it probably should have.
Much longer.
Should have went through the
All right.
presentation.
Stripped out everything.
We don't have any items of information. Our next meeting is May 18th. We are going to adjourn open session to conduct, and we're going to move to executive session to conduct strategy sessions in preparation for negotiations with non-union personnel, or to conduct collective bargaining sessions or contract negotiations with non-union personnel, from which we shall not return.
Moved by Stacy.
Moved by Stacy.
Seconded by Lisa.
Roll call vote. Ms. Bigelow?
Yes.
Ms. Zaborski?
Yes.
Ms. Stubnick?
Yes.
Ms. Raffi?
Yes.
Ms. Koshin?
Yes.
Myself, yes.
We have it
At 9:33.
Good night.
Good night, all.
Thank you.